Good day, everyone. Um, Today I am going to share another video on C programming language, and for me, I am so much inclined to this, and my discussion today is quite a little bit technical, but it is so interesting on your part as learners, right? Because I know when these techniques in programming, you can use this in your programming journey because a program is quite impossible without using loop statement. Okay, so I will be discussing nested for loop. It is actually a loop within another loop statement. Okay, so I hope I can share you something very useful today, and I hope you will enjoy this video. And please subscribe this channel, okay, and share this to your friends, relatives, especially to those who are trying to learn programming in a way. And as I always made mention in my YouTube channel, the best way to start learning programming is to learn C programming language. Okay, that's based on my experience because if you're good in C, and if you want to migrate it to another programming languages, then it's quite easy for you. Okay, so I will be discussing to you some technicalities of nested loop statement, and I hope you can get my points. And at the end of the day, you can learn nested loop statements. Okay, so I would like to share my online notepad. Um, Basic program using nested for loops. Okay, now here in my notes, nested loop are usually used to print a pattern in C. For example, if you want to display a triangle, for example, a pyramid, or if you want to have a square or whatever, or even if you want to create a digital clock, you can do it by way of using nested loop statement. Okay, if you want to create a timer for a bomb, you can do that by using nested loop statement, right? And using a loop inside another loop is called nested loop. Okay, that's what I'm saying a while ago. That a nested loop is actually a loop within another loop statement, right? So I have three examples of nested a program using nested loop, and I'm going to share this to you. And in a way, I'll be discussing it line by line for you to understand the technicalities and the behavior of nested loop. For example, if I want to create a square of asterisk, okay, and this is the program, okay. You have to I did use in main. This is my one. I am inclined into this. So as I need to do some return zero because my main function is an integer main function, right? And this is my program within the curly brackets of my main function, right? I hope you're following my screen. And I did use two integer variables, I and g. Okay, I'm sorry, I and g. I will be using I for my main for loop statement, and I will be using g for my nested loop. Okay, so I have here for I is equal to 0, and perform this loop body while I is lesser than 10. So meaning my I will start at 0 and it will end up at 9. Okay, because when your I is 10, your condition becomes false because 10 is not lesser than 10, right? The value of I will increase by 1 every time it loops because of this I plus plus. Okay, And within my loop, for example, if this condition is true, meaning if the value of I is from 0 to 9, these lines here will be executed. Okay? Along the way, uh, another for loop statement will be executed. How many times? 10 times. 10 times because my I will start at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this for loop, nested loop statement within my mother for loop statement will be executed 10 times. And at the 11th time, when I is equal to 10, it will exit and this will never be executed again. Right? So within is another for loop statement. And I did use J, right? My J will start at 0 and it will end up at 9 also because this condition will become false if my G is 10. Okay? And if this condition is true, this print asterisk with a space will be executed. Right? How many times? The way I look at it, the condition is true if J is from 0 to 9. So 10 times will be printing asterisk. Right? So I will try to simulate it manually and then eventually I'll be showing it by using my online compiler. Okay? So here, look at this. If my I is 0, right? And eventually, the condition is what? The condition is true. Because 0 is lesser than 10. Are you following? Now, since the condition is true, perform the loop body. This is the loop body. Okay? Perform print backslash t backslash t backslash t backslash t. Meaning, I will be moving my cursor how many tab stops? 4 tab stops. More or less, my cursor is located at the center of my screen. And then, after such 4 tab stop, I will be executing these loops. Right? So, what is then the content of the loop? The loop says for j is equal to 0. Right? Are you following? And then while j is less than 10, which is in this particular line, the condition is true because j is 0. And since the condition is true, display or print asterisk. So it will display what? It will display asterisk. Okay? Are you following? And then, what's next? The next is curly bracket. Curly bracket means go back to the loop. Okay? So it goes back to the loop. Now, once it goes back to the loop, G++ will be executed. Okay? So in here, G becomes how much? G becomes 1. Because G++ means increase the value of G by 1. And then, here comes a condition. Right? Is 1 lesser than 10. The condition is what? The condition is true. Since the condition is true, perform print asterisk. So, more or less, the asterisk is here. Right? Because we don't have any backslash in here. So, right after printing the first asterisk, the cursor is placed in here. Because of this vacant line, this space in here. Okay? 1 character space. And then it goes at the right side. Okay? Now, after printing the second asterisk, it goes back again in here. Right? And at this time, our G is how much? Our G is 2. Because of G++. And then, check the condition. Is 2 lesser than 10? The condition is true. Right? Since true, perform print asterisk. So, the asterisk will be printed. Now, how many times that this print if statement will be performed as far as this loop statement is concerned? 10 times. Meaning, this condition is true until j becomes 10, right? So if j is 10, then the condition becomes false because 10 is not lesser than 10. If the condition is false, but by the way, how many asterisk na prior to j is equal to 10? We do have 10 asterisk because this loop body will be executed how many times? 10 times. Right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? So after printing 10 asterisk, the condition becomes false and it will exit from the loop. After exiting from the loop, the program compiler is in here. Print if backslash n, meaning after printing the 10th print asterisk, it goes down because of backslash n. And 4, right? It goes in here. And the next line is curly bracket, meaning it goes back to the mother for loop. It's so technical, but please be open-minded. Try to understand the behavior of nested loop. So once this condition is false, right? The next thing is move the cursor to the next line and then goes back to the mother loop. Then the mother loop is what? Increase the value of I by 1 because at first our I was 0 and then here comes a condition, is I lesser than 10, right? The condition is of course true. Now since the condition is true, what's next? Display this one. So move the cursor in here, right? Okay, and then perform again this loop or nested loop. So it goes back to the same scenario. G is equal to 0, right? Then G is lesser than or equal to 10. Of course, the condition is true. And if the condition is true, perform print asterisk. So print asterisk here. And then because of this curly bracket, it goes back to this nested loop and increase the value of j to how much? By 1, and it becomes 1. Then check the condition, is 1 lesser than 10? The condition is true. If the condition is true, print asterisk. So the second asterisk will be printed. And it goes back again, and at this time our g becomes how much? Our g is 2, right? And check the condition is 2 lesser than 10, and that is true. Since true, print asterisk. Now how many times? This scenario will be executed how many times? 10 times. It will only exit if j becomes 10, right? Are you following? So meaning if g, right? If g becomes 10, then this condition becomes false. And if this condition becomes false, it goes back again. And when it goes back, the value of I now is how much? The value of I is 2 because of this I++. And the same scenario again, right? So asterisk will be printed how many times? 10 times. Okay. Now, when is the time that this condition becomes false? If I is equal to 10. Meaning, how many times that we are going to print asterisk in here? Huh? How many times? 10 times. Okay? Are you following? So, it will display asterisk. We'll just make it shorter na lang to so as to avoid your data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 9 and 10. Okay? And this scenario will be executed 10 times if I is 2, and if I is 3, 10 times again. If I is 4, 10 times. If I is 5, 10 times, and so on and so forth. So in short, you are good as creating a square or a semi-square of asterisk. Alright? So, and so on and so forth. Right? This is actually a manual simulation of the program. What I'm trying to discuss today is a line by line compiling of this program, execution of this program, so as for me to explain to you the behavior of nested for loop. Okay, uh, this is the mother loop statement. If I is 0, perform this loop statement. So while the condition is true, perform this one. And it becomes false, exit, and goes back to the mother loop. Increase the value of I by 1, perform again. The same. And it goes back, increase the value of I, perform again. That's nested for loop statement. Now, if it exits from the loop, the mother loop, at that time, I is surely 10. Right. So, if I is 10, meaning this condition is 1. This condition will become false. Now, if false, what's next? Exit from this curly brackets. And the next thing is return 0, meaning stop the program. And the screen output is this one. Okay? So, I hope I was able to explain the technicalities of for loop statement. What I'm trying to create in here is actually a square or a semi-square of asterisk. Okay? So, I have a program, actually a copy and paste of this sample program in here. Please look at this. I'm sorry. Okay. I need to copy and paste here, right? So then yeah, I need to, okay, I have to copy and paste in here, right? Control C, and then paste here. Please follow my screen, and I need to erase this one. This is our manual simulation. If I am not going to erase this, obviously my program won't run because this is syntax error, right? So I like this program. Okay, so here the same. It's a copy and paste of the one that I did discuss manually. I have ing, I have the mother loop, I have the nested loop, right? And this print asterisk will be performed 10 times, right? Every time it loops, right? I'll try clicking run command or run button. Let's see what's the screen output. Look at this one. This is now the screen output. I'm trying to create a square or a semi-square of this thin asterisk in here. This one, it is actually the result of I is equal to 0 and j is equal to 0 to 9. And this one is I is equal to 2 and the result of g is equal to 0 to 9. Okay? So this is if I is 1, a 0, I is 1, this is I is 2, I is 3. And this one, I here is 9. Because when it becomes 10, it will exit from the loop. Right? The result, this 10 asterisk is actually the result of g is equal to 0 up to g is equal to 9. Right? This is the result of the inner or the nested for loop. Okay? And the space in between in here is actually because of this one here. Asterisk, and then I put some extra space in here prior to this, right? So if I want to have a more spaces in between asterisk, I just need to increase the space. And when I click run button, I did then here, right? Okay, spacious square or rectangle of asterisk, right? And if I am not going to put some extra space, right? So I just need to erase the extra space. And when I click run button or run command, then it will display, right, an asterisk. But ideally, I would love to suggest put an extra space in here, one or two extra space. Then that's good. You can have an ideal, yeah, square of asterisk, right? So I hope I did discuss this one. I would like to challenge you guys. Copy this program, okay? Include this in your online compiler, right? And try to explore, then analyze, right? Do some erasures, right? Do some adjustment. For example, if you want to decrease this one by 5, you can do it, right? And increase this one by 5, decrease this one by 5, then try clicking run button, and you can have a small square of, of asterisks. Huh? Instead of 10 asterisks, you only have 5 asterisks. Why? Because you only limit this here, the nested, to 5. What if you will maintain the 10? What happens? It's right. Then you can have this one. We only have 5 asterisks in here because we limit our I into 5 only, right? But our G stays at 10, so that's why we have 10 asterisks in here. Okay, that's how to study uh, sample programs. Okay, so please do the same. Um, try to explore. Okay, for you to learn the nested for loop statement. But if you have some questions, feel free to do some comments or chat. You know my Facebook account. You know my messenger, so we can chat in there, right? So I have another example for us to discuss also. This one, right? Now, if you can see, this is actually technically this is the same. I still have I and J. I limit my I up to 10, right? I started at 0, meaning my this loop in here will be executed 10 times, right? Um, I do have backslash t also to place my pattern of the sender, and then my nested loop in here. Instead of look at this, instead of using what's this? I can. I'm sorry. I can have 0 in here, and actually this is the same, but just to make it uniform. Now instead of saying 10 here, I please follow my screen. Supposedly this is 10. If I want to create a square pattern of asterisk, but then I did use I, right? I did use I, meaning whatever is the value of I, then that will also be the total number of asterisks to be printed. Okay. So for example, we'll try to simulate it manually, right? Uh, if I is 1, no, 0, right? So obviously, the first condition is what? The first condition is true, right? Are you following? Now, since the condition is true because I is lesser than 10, since the condition is true, perform this one. So move the cursor to the center of the screen. Then another for loop statement. This is the nested loop. The nested loop make use of G. So our G is 0, right? And then the condition is G lesser than I, right? So our I is 0. Are you following? And am I right? Yeah. Our I is 0. Oh, sorry. I need to, and our G is 0. So okay. Yeah, I need to have some equality to make the condition true, right? So our G is 0, right? And our I is 0, the condition is true. Because 0 is less than or equal to 0. Right? So true. So since true, perform this one. Display what? Asterisk. So because of backslash t, um, our asterisk will be displayed in here. Right? Then after displaying a curly bracket demands for us to go back to this loop. So this time our G becomes how much? Our G becomes 1. And the next condition, the next checking of condition is this. Uh, Equal to 1. Okay? Is 1 less than or equal to the value of, of, of J. The condition is true. Right? So if the condition is true, display this one. So display asterisk. So how many times do we need to display this asterisk? It depends upon when is the condition becomes false, right? So as the value of I increases or decreases, right? The number of asterisks that will be printed in here depends on the value of I. If I is equal to 8, then there will be 8 asterisks. If I is equal to 7, then there will be 7 asterisks, right? Because I did not use 10 in here. I did use whatever is the value of I. And whatever is the value of I, then that would also be the times that X asterisk will be printed. Okay? So for me to explain it technically, I would like to share this on my online compiler. Okay, so technical, but then let's see. Okay, Control V. We'll try click. I hope it will run. I'll try clicking this one. See, look at this. Right. So I was able to form a semi pyramid. Okay, are you following? So in here, because yeah, our I here is 0, our I here is 1, our I here is 2, our I here is 3, right? So if our my I is 3, so I can perform the print asterisk how many times? 4 times. Why? Because my I starts at 0. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's why I have 4 asterisks. So in here, my I is 5. My I is 4. So I have how many asterisks? 5. Why 5? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5. So I was able to form a semi-pyramid. So that's the beauty of a nested loop. You can create a lot of patterns. Okay? You can create a lot of patterns. You can even make this 10 as a dynamic number, meaning not fixed. You can use scanf in here. Print, enter, value, now, and then scanf. Then whatever is that value, that will be the value for here. Instead of 10, you can use any variable and make use of scanf. So then your size of square or your size of pyramid depends upon the inputted value of the user. Okay, so that's a good thing with nested loop. I would love to share my last example also. Okay, so actually same with the first and the second. I did use nested for loop. I'm sorry. Okay, and then we'll try clicking run. See, I have here an inverted pyramid. Why? Because instead of I plus plus, I did have minus minus I, right? And I started at 10 and ended at 0. Okay? So, this condition will becomes uh, false if my I is not greater than 0, meaning if my I is 0, right? And my I starts at 10. So 10 minus 1, that's 9, minus 1, that's 8, minus 1, that's until it becomes 0. And when I becomes 0, it will exit from the loop. And I will be able to perform, to display an inverted pyramid. Okay? And I have here j as 1, then it will end up if my j is lesser than or equal to I. Right? Ano, if this condition is true, meaning if my j is greater than my I, then it will exit from the loop. Okay? Because in here, um, in this particular line, my I is equal to 10. Now, since my I is 10, and the printing of asterisk depends upon the value of I, so I have here 10 asterisk. In this particular line, my I here is 9, and I was able to print 9 asterisk. In here, my I is 8, and I have 8 asterisk. In here, my I is 7, and I have 7 asterisk. Right? Because I did use my I as the basis for my condition, whether it's true or false. Okay? So, for you to have a clear understanding of what I'm trying to discuss today, I would like to suggest you try to review the program, do some exploration, try to edit something. Either you can increase the size or decrease. Basta be a scientist of these three examples: the square, the semi-pyramid, and the inverted semi-pyramid. And from these three examples, you can create a lot of patterns in here. Okay? This is a challenge for you guys. And I hope you can use these techniques in your programming journey. Okay? So, that's end my discussion today. Though my discussion was so technical, I know it. Nested loop statement is at first so hard to understand. Same with nested if, but as you try to expose yourselves to these programming styles and techniques, you will get to learn a lot of things along the way, right? So I hope I was able to share something nice and good to you today, and I hope you can share this channel also to your friends. Please let them click subscribe and like my video. I will be posting a lot of videos very soon, right? Depends upon my free time, and depends upon the demand of my subscribers, right? So thank you so much for now. I hope you're enjoying this video. God bless you. God bless us. You know, God is always good. Goodbye for now.